The WCA home has private rooms for seniors who need assisted living. We are a nonprofit home founded 125 years ago for women, now seeking approval for men. Our mission has always been top-notch assisted living. Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Chautauqua Sunrise. I'm Doc Hamels. I am so glad to be back here in the States and with you this morning or whenever you watch this show. I'm just glad you could join us. It's always great, as they always say, to go on vacation, but it's always super great to come back to Chautauqua County. I love it here. Germany is a wonderful, wonderful country if you've never been there. People say, why do you go to Germany of all places? Well, that's a good question. We had an exchange daughter 18 years ago from Germany, and we have stayed in touch with them all these years, and we've gone back 9 times, and my son was stationed in Germany as well, but between the two situations we visited there, and Julie and her family have come to visit us a couple times, and now Julie, who was the exchange daughter, she's married. She's a medical doctor, and she has a little boy named Theo, and we got to visit with them for 2 weeks up in Mellendorf in the north part of Hanover, which is the northern part of Germany in Lower Saxony. It's a state, they call that. Like we have 50 states. Anyways, all kinds of great foods and all kinds of fun experiences. And our dear friends, Rudolph and Leo Kaspari, you saw their picture last week I sent in from Germany, hosted us for 2 weeks, and they're just super duper people and really nice time. Got to stand in the Baltic Sea, and then as the guys were all laughing at me, somehow I got into a glider airplane, and if you know me, I have motion sickness like right up there, and I won't give you the long story, but I thought I was going for a ride in a prop airplane, and somehow it turned into this glider plane adventure. And I have nothing against glider planes. It was absolutely gorgeous up there, where however many hundreds of thousands of feet in the air I was. But it was when we caught this thermal, they call it, which is like this air rising up quick, and all of a sudden the airplane does woo, and then the pilot had to turn it to the right. And it's always the turn that gets me. And now remember, there's just 2 of us in this little non-motorized thing in the air. And it tips like as my stomach just rolled. And then he did this like 6 times. He finally says, Now, if you're uncomfortable, let me know. And I said, I'm uncomfortable. Hit this down. The part that is my famous quote of the day for that day was, so what's this on my back? What's this thing that's here? They go, oh, that's your parachute. I said, parachute? I said, why do I need a parachute? I thought this was supposed to be safe. They go, no, we got to do these things. So they stuffed me into this little compartment, and I'm not making this up. I was stuffed in there, and then they put the glass lid down. It was like I was like in a space capsule with a parachute. And he says, now if anything happens, I go, nothing's going to happen. And he says, well, if it does, you open this lid and you jump out. I go, there's no jumping. I says, I'm going down with the plane. I don't even know where the ripcord is. You're laughing, Justin. You would have said the same thing. I'm going down with the ship. Yeah. But to be up in the air, it must have been like 1,500 feet, maybe higher, I don't know. And then look out and you see the woods of Germany and the lakes and the rivers, and we were above the windmills. It was just absolutely fabulous. Unfortunately, my motion sickness kicked in, and later on they said, would you like to go for a prop plane, a 2-seater prop plane? I go, no, I'm good. I'm going to go get something to eat till my stomach settled. But great time. I always have fun adventures, and people always ask me, what did you have to eat there? Because they know I'll try anything once. Well, I won't go into all that, but it was just wonderful foods there, and things that we don't serve here as a rule, but just really good stuff. And if you haven't had a chance to travel out of your town, your county, your state, go through the states. Barb and I have been through 49 of the 50 states, and it's the same thing. Different areas have different foods. Different countries have the same way. So get out there and take a bite of the world. It's really a lot of fun. Okay. I want to give a special thanks to my good friends here at the station, Randy Burt and Jeff Sook. They covered for me the last 2 weeks, and they did a yeoman's job. This always looks easy. I mean, to sit here and talk, it's not. It really isn't. And I thank them for allowing me the opportunity to travel. Let's see here. I want to say good afternoon. And people say, why are you saying good afternoon? I want to say good afternoon to all of my listeners on WRFA 107.9, low power to the people, and all the folks over there that allow us to join you on Tuesdays at 1 o'clock. And we're just happy to be here. And we have a great show in store for you today. So if you're listening on the radio, keep it on, because you're going to love this show. If you're watching me on TV and you got to do something, remember we're on at 2 and 8 every day this week, as we always are. The guys showed me something new today. As you know, we used to be Access 5. Now we're Access Chautauqua. So Justin, let's get a shot on this. Let's see. I never know where my right or my left is here. But you're going to see us guys when we're doing various. Turn it this way. Okay, various shows, especially when we're out and about. Those are our new logos. And Chuck Kelsey, thanks for the hat. And we got all bowling shirts that look the same. So if you see us marching down the street, you're going to know that we're from Access Chautauqua. And so thanks for that. That's really going to be a lot of fun, especially when we do the Mayville Parade and all the other things we do. Okay, and I want to remind you, as always, that this is a live TV show. We are happy to announce your various community events. You can contact us, as it says right here, at our email address. You can call in live, 753-5225, and you can talk with myself or my guest, or you can just make an announcement, okay, about your spaghetti dinner or baked goods sale or special fundraiser that you're having, whatever. It's free. We don't charge you, because Chautauqua Sunrise's mission is to talk about the cool things, the good things, the important things about Chautauqua County. Okay, we're also on social media. You can Twitter us. I don't ever do that, so I don't even know. But I do everything else. You can go to Facebook. We're on YouTube. Every single show. What number is this, Justin?
100 and some.
200, not 100. Let's just call it 220, just for fun. He'll give me an update here in a minute. But every single show that we've ever done is on YouTube, and you can just put Chautauqua Sunrise, and you can put the person's name that you're looking for next to it, and it pops it right up, and it's all good. I have the 219, all right, 219 show, and I was close. And so anyways, also, remember, if you have a special anniversary or a birthday or somebody you want to recognize, give us a call. We're happy to do that. And I have to phrase this next one very, very carefully. I want to wish my wife happy birthday. And that's where I'm supposed to stop. Just stop there. It's always
Happy birthday!
from the crew. So happy birthday, Barb. If you see my wife, Barb Hamels, give her a hug or just hugs. But wish her happy birthday. It's her birthday, and I'm not supposed to say how old she is because I get in enough trouble without doing those kinds of things. All right, we have some announcements to share, and we got a really cool one. Let's go right to the slide, Jeff. The 15th Annual Local Music Showcase over in Jamestown is today, September 8th. So let's get that slide number 15. The Infinity Visual and Performing Arts Center is looking forward to a night full of music and fun in downtown Jamestown for the 15th Annual Local Music Showcase. I went back and figured it out. After I played tonight, this will be my 8th showcase that I've played for. Local music showcases are held every year, and it's going to be held tonight from 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. in downtown Jamestown. For $15, you can enjoy more than I've heard now it's up to 50 local bands and musicians, or maybe it's 50 musicians, I don't know what it is. Well, let's go with 40. Local bands and musicians performing at 8 different venues throughout the town. The venues include the following: Brazil, Forte, The Labyrinth, Shawbucks, Tarmac Cafe, the Chautauqua Club, The Pub, and the Wine Cellar. Will and I will be performing at the pub at 7:15 this evening to I think it's 8:15. So we're going to be playing there. With 40 different local bands, you can imagine 40 different types of music, interpretations of music that you might like. I don't care. There's going to be country, there's going to be rock, there's going to be heavy metal, there's going to be stuff like we do, which is like vintage acoustic rock, and just all kinds of great music. Our region here is just jam-packed and blessed with musicians from all over the area. So please support this great program called Infinity that help kids and young adults to look and search for their talent through all kinds of arts. The full price of the wristband will be available at 5:30 at one of 5 kiosks located downtown. Be sure to stop by the kiosk before joining the fun. You have to have a wristband. You will not get in. And then for a complete event schedule, you can go to Infinity's website at infinityperformingarts.org. That was all one word. And look for the Local Music Showcase Facebook page. I'll tell you, this is a fun night because, as I mentioned before, you get all these different musicians, and I've been doing this for over 50 years, and we run into musicians all the time, and we get to we see each other on Facebook, we hear about each other, we see each other's names on marquees or whatever, but tonight we actually run into each other and say, hey, how's it going, and haven't seen you in a long time, and sometimes we sit in and listen to each other and stuff like that. So it's a big fun night, so please go and support Infinity. All right, I want to share with you that next Saturday there's a vendor's fair, and this is going to be held at Noble Winery on Hardscrabble Road in Westfield. This is supporting the Ripley Public Library. Crafters and direct sales are welcome. Tables are not provided. No electricity is provided. I guess you gotta bring your own electricity. You get a 10 by 12 area, no pets allowed, rain or shine. It's a $20 and a donation of at least one item towards a Chinese auction. They reserve the right to reject any application. So if you're interested in participating in the vendors fair, and I understand this is extremely popular and very successful every year, give Rhonda Thompson a call or drop by at the Ripley Public Library over on Main Street in Ripley, or give them a call at 736-3913. All right, let's see here. Okay, how to avoid a DWI. We've been talking about this a while, and if you get a DWI, it's expensive. It destroys a lot of your life. It puts you in jeopardy with your family if it's really serious. So there's a program called Would You Pay $900 for a Drink? How to Avoid a DWI. It's going to be presented by Kathleen Storns, who is the Impaired Driver Program Director. It's going to be held September 18th from 1:30 to 4:30 p.m. at the Lakewood Baptist Church at 150 Erie Street, Lakewood, New York. Registration's $40. Most people don't think that they will ever be arrested for driving under the influence of alcohol or some other drug. Unfortunately, many people don't realize they are impaired while driving. Participants will gain an understanding of the consequences of being arrested for drinking and driving. Many times those who have been arrested say, "Whew, I wish I knew all of this before it happened." During this training, they'll also have a discussion on standard drinks. They'll cover factors that influence a person's blood alcohol content, BAC, tolerance in driving, how an arrest impacts others and alternatives to drinking, using, and driving. The New York State laws, social and emotional issues, and long-term implications will be discussed, and what a drink really costs in both the financial and social realms. If you have a young adult that you might feel that this would be important for them to participate, I'd check it out. Okay, moving right along. Here's a new one. I think it's new. Program to focus on Chautauqua Lake's first white settler. I don't even know who that would have been. Let's see. Chautauqua County has had its fair share of eccentric and colorful characters throughout its long history. There we go. The first of these notable individuals was arguably, there we go, Dr. Alexander McIntyre, who became a Chautauqua Lake's first white settler in the spring of 1804. Let's see, it's 214 years ago. On Wednesday evening, September 19th, the Chautauqua County Historical Society trustee and historian Jack Erickson will present the eccentric life of early pioneer Alexander McIntyre, fact and fiction, and outline the details of McIntyre's colorful biography. It is said that McIntyre built the first log cabin near the shores of Chautauqua Lake on what is today's South Erie Street in Mayville, just down the road. He erected a stockade around the cabin and called it Fort Debbie, after his wife. Local lore says he built it to protect his so-called wife from her estranged husband, who lived in Meadville, Pennsylvania. What? I never heard of that one. McIntyre also claimed that he had been captured by and resided with Indians many years, acquiring their habits, and said he learned the healing art from them. After living in the Mayville area, he spent his final years in Westfield, where it said he erected several cabins and bathhouses for people to take advantage of the healing powers of the local water. I'll drink that water over there. The public is invited to learn more about McIntyre's fascinating and colorful life during Erickson's presentation, which is taking place inside the community building at Lakeside Park in Mayville. It will begin at 6 p.m. on Wednesday, September 19th. There's no cost to attend because live food and refreshments will be served. RSVPs are appreciated but not required. To RSVP, call 326-2977. That sounds like a lot of fun. Okay, and lastly, parenting class. Build a strong foundation for your children. Your child's first years are so important. Learn how to make the most of them with active parenting. First 5 years. In this program, you'll learn the best ways to nurture your child from birth to pre-K with a just right combination of freedom and nonviolent discipline. Give your kids a strong start. Here's what you'll learn. What a baby's cry means. Ages and stages of development. Building a strong bond. Your child's growing brain. Using mindfulness to keep your cool. Effective discipline young children can understand. I just looked at them. Just scared them. Choices and consequences. 2 ways to prepare your child for school success, and much more. It's a 4 2-hour session parenting group. It's going to be held on September 19th, the 26th, October 3, and the 10th. It's going to be from 12 to 2 p.m. at the Mental Health Association, 31 Water Street, door 14, suite 7, Gateway Center, Jamestown, New York. The project is offered free of charge through United Way of Chautauqua County in partnership with the Chautauqua Alcohol and Substance Abuse Council, otherwise known as CASIC, and the Mental Health Association. For more information, go to casicweb.org. So, there you have the announcements for today, and that's how we do it here. And if you have something you want to share, don't hesitate to give us a call or get to us. We're going to take a little break, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned. I'm telling you, this is going to be a great show.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
In my house. Okay, folks. It's not very often that you can make a claim to be the world's anything, but I can do that. I am the world's best looking, bearded. What are you laughing about? I'm not done yet. TV show host and producer that has a show on Saturday mornings in Mayville at 9 o'clock. There you go. My guest has more than just that. Let's bring up the first slide because I want to use this right off the bat. This is what I received in the mail the other day. If we can get the first slide up. World's strongest man. What the heck? That's quite a claim. My claim is very easy. You just show up and here I am. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome to the show my good friend, my very good and very old friend, Don Reinhoudt.
Thank you, John. Honored to be here, buddy.
World's strongest man.
Yeah,
I know you've been that like forever and ever and ever, but that's not why you're here. I read an article in the Post Journal back, I think it was in July, and you got a new distinction. Go ahead and share it with everybody.
Well, just, I have been so blessed in my life, John. God has blessed me in so many ways, but I was just voted into the top 10 of the century of all-time strongmen.
What the heck?
In the world. And when I read that, I thought, oh, my goodness, I just feel so blessed.
Yeah. Can I read the letter that you
Oh,
gave
sure.
me?
Absolutely.
Okay. Don's provided me a letter from a gentleman named Bill Clark, who is the vice president of the National Strength and Power Hall of Fame. He's a world champion, I guess, himself, and a world record holder, it says here. And it says, to whom it may concern. I guess it was a press release, perhaps? Yes. We hope that this release finds you in perfect health, wellness, and strength. Please be advised that Mr. Don Reinhoudt, that's you, will be inducted into the National Strength and Power Hall of Fame in October 2018. Oh, that's coming up! Official banquet and dinner in June of 2019. So you got to stick around.
Yes, I got it.
Okay, so stick around. Mr. Reinhoudt's accomplishments in the world of strength have been unparalleled. Let's underline it, unparalleled, and as such will enter the first ever class to be inducted into this Hall of Fame. Up to this point, the Strength and Power Hall of Fame has been exclusive to the states. However, and due to overwhelming support and demand, the Hall of Fame has been expanded to the national level. Don was inducted into the New York State Strength and Power Hall of Fame with the first class as well. Additionally, Mr. Reinhoudt was unanimously chosen as the first ever president of the National Hall of Fame. Is that true?
Yes. Yeah. I could.
It's not fake news. Don's experience as the world's strongest man and multi-world champion and world record holder made him the obvious choice. Don Reinhoudt's name is synonymous with leadership and success, and the Strength and Power Hall of Fame is honored and privileged to both induct him and have him as the figurehead of our fraternity. With respect and yours in strength, Bill Clark. Well, congratulations.
Thank you, John.
You know, I saw that in the paper and I said, we got to get together. And you and I ran into each other, was this wintertime.
Yes.
And I didn't know anything about this at the time. Neither one of us knew anything about it, I guess. And we were at a Rotary function and you were eating like 37 pancakes, I think it was. I eat 4, he eats a stack. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know how many you ate. Was it really that many?
It probably was. It probably was all you could eat, so I took advantage of that.
Anyways, so that's quite an honor. And to be someone that's one of 10 in the world for a century, that's just incredible. That's, wow. You must have been just like, wow, overwhelmed.
Well, you know, John, when I used to compete years ago, it's been a long time, not that I ever took anything for granted, but you know, to be the best in the world, you had to do the certain things that I did.
Yeah.
So I never thought much about it until when I got all through with it. Now, of course, I can't do that stuff anymore.
Me either.
It's just a memory.
Of course, I never have.
And I look back, and now some of these accolades are coming on, And I think like maybe I really did do something. As I said, I just never thought a lot about it.
Isn't that funny? You know, people will come up to each other and say, "Wow, you did this," or "You out," whatever it is, whatever your walk of life is, and we just do what we do.
Exactly.
We don't think about it, right? So,
Exactly.
so for folks that are like maybe a generation or two behind you, they're watching the show today, first time ever. Even, I mean, some people may not even know your name. I mean, you're like with the Beatles. Okay.
Yeah.
I've been sitting around with kids, you know, and they're watching Paul McCartney and say, "Who's that old guy?" He's like, you know, rock royalty, and you're royalty in your world.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So for the sake of the story, let's tell it. How did this all begin? Where were you born and all that good stuff?
Oh, that's good. Well, you know, I've always been from Chautauqua County. I was born at Brooks Hospital in Dunkirk on March 6, 1945.
How much did you weigh?
I had the record for the biggest baby at
No,
that
how
time.
did I guess?
And maybe I was born to be a strong guy. I don't know.
No, seriously, how much?
But I was just about 12 pounds.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, and back then that was a pretty. Well, I think even today it's probably
That's a good size.
a pretty big baby. You know.
Yeah, I was 10 pounds, but I was also 2 weeks late when my mother told me. 12 pounds. Did your mother ever forgive you?
Oh my gosh! You know, I'll tell you what, John. My mother had much. My mother's a small woman, very small, maybe like 5'2". And
Oh my gosh!
in fact, tomorrow's my mother's 99th birthday.
Oh,
yeah,
well,
she's 99 years old tomorrow.
Wish her happy birthday.
Well, thank you.
99,
But anyway,
good for
she
her.
struggled a lot with me when I was born, naturally, you know. But anyway, I was born at Brooks Hospital, and I went to college. I was a pretty good football player, and went to college in Fairfield, Iowa, called Parsons College, and with a full scholarship to play football. And that's how I got involved with lifting weights many, many years ago.
But did you play football in high school?
Yes, I was all Western New York in football. I was actually, I was good in basketball too, believe it or not. At
believe it. Why
230 pounds, I could slam dunk a basketball. and then I was an all New York State shot putter.
And a shot putter.
And a shot putter to boot too.
Holy moly!
So
who'd you play for? What school?
Fredonia High School.
Okay, all right.
And so anyway, sports has always been my love. I just really love sports an awful lot, but I went to college.
What'd you study college? What was your major?
My education was in finance.
Finance.
Yes, finance. Absolutely. My dad was an accountant for 36 years.
All right.
And so anyway, I took after my dad.
Sure.
And I worked for my father for 10 years before Dad passed away.
Okay.
And but then from there, Mom sold the business. My mother was an accountant too.
Well, you had it then. It was in your blood.
It was kind of in the genes. But actually, after Dad passed away, then I went to become a youth worker, and I worked with young people for about 35 years of my life. So it was a real blessing.
Yeah, you have really. Wow. All right. So you come into the world at 12 pounds. So that's like a 6-month-old kid, and you go to and you play sports. So where's the connection with weightlifting? Where did that come in?
I started lifting weights in college, John. You know, back in my time, back in the early '60s, there was no gyms around, and it wasn't even any weights in high school. You know, because we were always told if you lifted weights, it was going to hinder you. It was going to make you muscle bound.
That's why I never did.
I
wanted to keep my body just the way it was. I didn't want to get muscle bound and look really buff. I just wanted to look wimpy.
Oh, sure. Well, and of course that's such a fallacy because in today's,
you're absolutely right, though.
In today's world, I mean, weightlifting is huge, you know. But anyway, when I went to college and I got into the weightlifting at school, and immediately it took off. You know, I weighed about 230 as a freshman in college, and very quickly I was up to 250, 255, and quicker and stronger and a much better athlete. So, but it all started in college, lifting weights for football.
Okay, so you said you gained weight. So back then, did you learn any lessons about gaining weight or anything you want to share?
No, I never stopped. Never stopped.
It's a progressive thing.
I've always had a good appetite, and it just didn't know a lot about nutrition at that time either, And but of course, nutrition is huge as well as with weightlifting too.
So you sort of just kind of went on your own on that?
You know, really, myself and the guys at my time, we were really the pioneers in the country, you know, because those of us who took up the competition with weightlifting, we kind of set the standard for today's young people with lifting weights.
So, what did you do to gain the weight? Just ate a lot?
I just ate a lot and I knew, of course, I naturally knew protein was huge, you know. So I tried to get as much protein in my body as I could for the muscle mass. And but a lot of milkshake, high protein milkshakes.
Okay, so protein, stuff that was out on the over the counter.
And of course eggs and anything I could, like peanut butter and peanuts and anything I could, you know, the red meat, which is now we know I have to be really careful with.
Yeah, with all
but just whatever I could afford it, I could take in my body. You know.
All right, so when you played football, what position did you play?
I was a defensive nose tackle. At that
Why
time.
does that surprise me? Was there anybody else on the team at the time, or was just you out there?
Well, actually,
I think you probably take on the whole offensive line.
Well, you know, to be honest, when I went to college, in my time, 230 was a big guy. You know, now today it isn't that big.
No.
But you know, we had guys in the football team that were fullbacks that were as big as I was, and I thought like, oh my gosh, you know. So it just was. It's an eye awakening when you go to school and you think you're kind of hot stuff at your own area, and you go and you figure you're just one of a lot of guys.
Bigger pool.
Yeah, exactly, John.
Okay, so you're doing weightlifting in college. It's for sport, to build up your body for football. So you played 4 years.
4 years, yes.
Okay. So then you graduated. You're an accountant, and so when did So what? Where do we go? So what happened next?
Well, you know, of course, I kept on weightlifting.
Okay.
When I got out of school,
but not competitively at that point.
No.
Okay. So just for your own purposes.
Just for, you know, it was just for me and those of us who really enjoy the weight training. It's like addicting. I mean, you feel so good after you work out, and so I just kept it up, and I kept getting stronger, and then I eventually started. Checking out competition.
Okay.
But that took several years after getting out of college.
Okay.
And I just started competing, and one thing led to another, and who'd ever think it would go the way that it did?
Okay. So you leave college, so you're in your early 20s. Was there ever an opportunity for professional football?
Not really. You know, I coming from a small school, there really
you just
wasn't.
weren't in the market.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it just. No, and I enjoyed the weightlifting so much that was my passion.
So after college, you came back to Chautauqua County?
I came back to Fredonia.
So so during those years, you were the accountant?
Yeah, I was for 10 years.
I'm trying to picture you behind a desk.
I know. My dad's clients that would come in, they'd look at me and think like, oh my goodness, you know. I'd have all my protein things in the side. My dad was I got my size and strength from my father.
Okay.
Although my dad was not an athlete, he was a musician, and of course he was a businessman. And he was a county legislature for quite a few years.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Dad was in for 6 years across the street. But Dad was a big man. You know, my father was genetically a very strong man, and so I got the size and the strength from my dad's side of the family. My grandmother Reinhoudt was 6'1". She was a big woman.
Big German woman.
Big German woman, and I had a couple of aunts that were 6'1". And,
they ever cuff you?
They could have very easily, you know. But that's where I got the size and strength from my dad's side of the family.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you're still weightlifting. You're doing some competitions. You're an accountant, which is still blowing my mind here. So then, did you have some aspirations, some goals? I mean, what guided you in your career?
Well, you know, it's kind of strange because I just started competing for. Never for a goal of being the best in the world, because I was so far down the ladder when I started competing. But you know, I just wanted to compete to just have some fun and just to see where it would take me. And I rose to the top pretty quickly. You know.
How old were you at that point? About.
Well, you know, I think I won my first world championship when I was about 26 years old.
World championship.
So I came up pretty quickly.
Well, I guess so.
But you know, John, coming from this part of the country was a huge disadvantage. Because even in the United States, a lot of my chief competitors were from like Los Angeles, California, and Texas, where gyms were real big,
okay.
You know.
All right.
And in Fredonia, we didn't even have a gym. I had my gym was an old cellar under Mom and Dad's house. And I bought a little, when I could afford, I bought some equipment, and so that's where I trained. So I didn't have all the luxuries that some of the guys had.
Okay, walk us through what a typical weightlifting competition involved. Because I don't think everybody maybe knows what's it like.
Well, you know, and powerlifting is the strength sport that I competed in. We had the squat, we had the bench press, and the deadlift.
All right, so obviously when you squat, you have to go down and lift straight up.
Straight up.
And the bench is what?
You lay on a bench and you take the bar down to your chest and you push it up.
Maybe you can.
Well, I had hard times at times too, you know.
Okay,
and then the deadlift is you pick the weight up off the floor until you get up over your knees.
Okay.
And at my time, I had the world record in every lift.
Okay, so let's go real slow with this. So I'm trying to imagine anybody in this room doing any of this right now. It's like, okay, so how do you prepare for this? Just practice?
Practice, and yeah, a lot of hard training. Yes.
I mean, I'm thinking right now that when I move quickly, I get this twinge in my back. I'm trying to imagine being 26 years old and lifting some really heavy things. So what did you have to do for your body to prepare for this?
Well, it just, you know, it's really, it's a strange thing because it's not only you have to work on your muscle part, but you have to have very strong tendons and ligaments.
Okay.
I mean, that all correlates along with strength, you know. So you have to be able to train everything, you know.
So who guided you in that?
It's just well, you know, my first wife I had was the world's strongest woman. Her name was Cindy.
Okay.
Yeah, oh yeah, and she was a doctor herself. She was a PhD in psychology.
Okay.
And of course, the mind plays a huge role.
Oh my gosh, I would think so.
In strength. So Cindy used to work me outside the weightlifting. She used to work on my mind, the mind power type of a thing. So
you are the weights.
Well, yeah. You know, if you get up to a weight and you don't believe you can do it, you're not going to do it. So you really have to believe, and that takes a lot of practice to get your mind. Like when I used to squat 1,000 pounds, I had the world record of 1,000 pounds.
Wait a minute, that's 1,000.
1,000 pounds on your back.
That's 1,000 1-pound packages of hamburger.
Yeah, absolutely. Boy, that was my motivation. You know,
that was squatting.
Yeah.
So wait. So you're down and they put it on you and you have to
you take it off. You take it off for squat racks.
A squat rack.
And you have it on your shoulders and then you bend down. You know, you go down and come up with it.
1,000 pounds.
1,000 pounds. Yes.
That's a half a ton.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot of weight. You know.
All right, I'm going to ask the stupid question. Does that hurt?
Well, you can't fear it. No, you know, if it hurts you, then you're not going to get it. You know.
All right.
After you do it, it hurts.
It hurts. All right. That's what I want to know.
Your body is sore.
Okay.
You know. But I mean, those kind of things, you don't walk up and think like, oh my God, 1,000 pounds on my back. Hey, you have to go up and believe you can do these things.
So obviously you do this incrementally. You start out with.
Oh yeah.
So like for instance, if I was at 5 pounds, 6 pounds, it would take me like 3 lifetimes to get to 1,000.
Oh, it took a long time for me too, John.
1,000 pounds.
Yeah, that's
so this is on a barbell type thing?
On a barbell, yes.
Mm-hmm. And you held the record at one time?
Yes, I did.
And what's the record now? Do you have any idea?
It's right around 1,100 pounds.
Another 100 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, because I assume you stay in touch with these guys. All right, so let's go to the bench. What happened there?
Well, the bench press, I had the world record in the bench press of 626 pounds.
Wait a minute, they lift it, they put it on your chest, and you have to push it up.
You have to
your
push
arms
it
have to be what, straight up?
Yeah, arms have to be completely locked out, yes.
600, what, 80 pounds?
626.
626. How long did you hold that record, do you think?
Oh, golly, for maybe a year, something like that.
All right. I mean, I'm thinking about my elbow right now.
It does hurt.
Do you do all these competitions in the same day?
Oh, absolutely.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
you do a squat, a bench. Did you do these particular world records in the same day?
Yes, I have. Yeah, absolutely, I have. And then the deadlift,
you just pick that baby up and
I did 904 pounds.
904 pounds.
But you know what? I did even more than that.
I have no idea.
At the world's strongest man, I did 2,550 pounds in the car lift, which is still a world record.
Car lift? What did you do to lift a car?
Well, they welded a bar on the back of a car, and then of course you bent down and you picked up the back of the car.
Of course. Why not?
It's all
just pick
all
up a
part
car.
But that was 2,550.
And you still hold that record?
Yes. Mm-hmm. 1979.
What kind of car was it?
Oh, golly, John. I really can't remember, to be honest with you.
Wow. Oh my God. We got a couple pictures. Should we talk about
Oh,
those
sure.
pictures?
That'd be
All
great.
right, these are random. I'm not sure which one we have in whatever order. So let's talk about it, because I'm having so much fun talking to you with right now. And I'm having fun with you, but I just can't imagine doing what you did. All right, what do we got here? We got the Don Reinhoudt inductee calendar that you provided me. So what's going on in this picture?
Well, that's a picture of getting ready to do the 904-pound deadlift. That was at the 1976 World Championships.
All right, so for those who are listening on the radio, there's Don, very trim and slim. How much were you weighing then?
Right around 380. Yeah, right around
380 pounds. You put on a little weight after college. 380 pounds, that's Don. And there's a big barbell, and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4... Are those 100-pound?
Those 100-pound plates?
And then they keep adding on these other little ones. And
the bar weighed 45 pounds itself.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, all kidding aside, does that bar ever bend?
Oh, yes. Yeah, they have to bend, because with that kind of weight, it does bend, Yes.
Oh, my gosh. So people might be saying, so what was in it for you to do all these?
What was in it for me was just the satisfaction of being the best in the world.
The best of the best.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Now, the other question people might say was there any prize money or anything like
Well,
that?
not in part of thing. I turned professional back in 1978 at the World's Strongest Men competition, and that was sponsored by CBS, and there was money in that.
Okay, so this isn't like a job. This is just something.
This is a hobby.
It's a hobby.
Yeah, because I always had to work a full-time job as well as do the competitions and the training.
Okay, and here's the article I think that was in the Post-Journal recently, leaving his mark, and that's talking about you being in the top 10 strongest men in the century, in the world, and there's a picture of you. Looks similar to what we just saw. Is that the same?
That's training. That was training the deadlift.
Okay, just training. Okay, and I'm just sitting here exhausted watching these pictures. I mean, all right. The obvious question. Another question is, how much can you press today? Do you know?
Oh golly, not very much. At 73 and the years of the beating in my body,
It's taking its toll?
It took its toll. I still weight train every day, but with very light weights for repetitions and just for conditioning.
Just for toning and things.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think we have some more pictures. Let's just bring those up. Okay, what's this? Don Reinhoudt, teeth lift. What? 520 pounds.
Well, actually, I've done more than I've done 600 for the world record with my teeth.
All right, so where do you get the strong teeth? Everyone's over here on my camera test going, what?
Well, I'll tell you what. It's really funny how that all started.
Yeah.
For 25 years, I was the director of the Chautauqua County Youth Bureau.
Yes, you were.
And I went around to all the schools, and in the summer times, I went to, many summers I would go
You
over
were with me.
60 playgrounds.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I've always been fascinated with strength. So I saw that somebody used to pick up kids with their teeth. So I thought, I want to do that. So anyway, I went to my dentist, and he made for me a mouthpiece made out of leather, which would absorb the teeth. So anyway, I started picking up elementary-sized kids on playgrounds, and I got stronger and stronger. And then eventually I started thinking, there's a world record for everything, So I checked out what the world record was, and I thought, if I really train with it, I think I could probably do that. And so that's what I did many, many years. But that was a very difficult thing to, because John, believe it or not, it's not only your teeth, but you have to have a very strong neck.
I would think so.
And your jaw. You don't think about it, but your jaw. I don't know how you train the jaw to be strong, but when I did the 600 pounds, I started pulling on my jaw, and I knew that I was going to start dislocating my jaw, and I thought, that's it. So I didn't do anything after that.
Do you hold the record for that yet?
I don't think I do. You know, I don't think I do.
600 pounds.
But that was kind of a cool thing. But I thought, wow.
Well, here's a little sidebar for my listeners and viewers. I don't remember what year it was. You came up to the Laguita Center where I was administrator there, and my son Scott was there, and you probably don't even remember this. And you said you were going to pick one of the kids up with your teeth, and Scott volunteered, or you picked Scott, and my son to this day, let's talk about the day that John Reinhoudt picked him up with his teeth. Good. Here's the rest of the story. Scott went on to become a Special Forces Green Beret.
Is that right?
And he's just now retiring after 25 years.
Wow.
So I'm sure you had some influence on him to do things.
Wow, what an honor.
Yeah. So anyway, so my son was listed by Don Reinhoudt. All right, here's another picture. I'm sure we got more. All right, what are you doing there?
Now, that's the world record of 2,550 pounds. That was. It looks like it might be like an old Model T or something there.
It doesn't matter.
That was 2,550 pounds.
2,550 pounds.
And that was, of course, done at the World's Strongest Men competition.
Where was that held?
Los Angeles, California.
Now, did you ever go outside the country for competition?
Not at the World's Strongest Men, no. It was, at my time, they were held at Universal Studios in Los Angeles.
Okay. So how were you treated?
Really very well. We didn't make any money. I mean, now the guys that compete at the Strongest Men, they're like they can make a living off of it. The money
professional
is so much bigger.
Rock stars.
Well, I think and I won 3 of those, and I think the most money I ever made was like $9,500. So it certainly wasn't anything you could live on.
No retirement there. Yeah.
No.
Is there a difference? The question just came through. Is there a difference for you competing indoors or outdoors? Obviously, the sun.
Actually, believe it or not, it's a lot harder outdoors.
Okay.
Because you got the sky and the sun and the
wind,
all that type of thing. And LA was very difficult because it was so hot there. We always competed usually in August.
Oh, geez.
So the years that I competed, it was like 110 degrees. The smog was unbelievable there,
Wow.
And then, of course, when you compete, it was always on like AstroTurf at Universal Studios. So that even made it hotter. So
now, if I'm not mistaken, if you go to YouTube, put your name in there, and the World's Strongest Men, people can see you in competitions. In fact, I think one day I don't know what show it was, Wide World of Sports or something I was watching. It was like reruns, and I looked up, and there you are doing some crazy. Say great. I'm sorry. I was going to say crazy. I think it's crazy. Crazy thing. I mean, this wasn't just weightlifting. It was like you were lifting the Empire State Building or something. It was really crazy. And you're a household name in many parts of the world. So.
Well, thank you, John.
Now, the last time I saw a strongman competition on TV, they were coming from around the world.
Yes.
So this has become a worldwide thing?
Yes, it is. There's an actual, that's how the guys can make so much money because we only had one competition a year when I competed, and now they have them all the time. So there's an actual circuit that you can go on. They're in Africa and Russia and all over the world. So the guys can compete and make a lot of money.
So you really were the early pioneers, like you were saying. And these guys are bouncing off of your shoulders into this.
Absolutely.
Have you seen some of the antics they do now? I mean, the stuff they do.
They're crazy. I thought we did some crazy things, but it's funny when it was so difficult to know how to train for those. I mean, how do you pick up a car? And we pulled trolley cars and semi trucks. And we used to run with 500-pound refrigerators on our back. Where do you get a refrigerator and put on your back? So it's like really hard to know how to train for that. But after the first year, then you kind of got an idea of different exercises that would relate to relate to that.
Okay, so who comes up with these things?
I know CBS. I don't know how they. When we got there, we said the same thing. What ingenious developed wheelbarrows of 800 pounds run up a hill with it. Wasn't this even flat? We had to run up an upgrade.
Yeah.
And it was crazy,
Okay, so now kids are listening right now, maybe, or other folks that are saying, "Oh boy." So was there always a doctor available? I mean,
yeah, they did.
Where was the safety in this
they used to have
sport?
the Los Angeles Rams a doctor that was there because everybody got hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way that any of us athletes, and we had some really, really good athletes, professional football players and wrestlers, besides the strong guys, So there's always pulled muscles and different injuries.
So what was your worst injury?
In 1980, I got hurt very, very bad. I tore the bicep right off the bone. And in fact, it's still affecting me today because of and I tore my shoulders. I tore the hamstring off on the left side of my back of my leg because it just wasn't. I was getting older. You know, you didn't have the flexibility and things. So a lot of injuries.
I'm just sitting here imagining my muscle coming off my. Oh wow.
Yeah, that's very painful.
Oh my gosh. So
I can like literally feel that pain right now. It's just
you can what? You're feeling the pain?
yeah.
We just had a picture pop up while we were talking, Don. Let's bring it back up, Jeff. It looks like you got a what's going on there?
Bending still bars. Yes.
Bending still bars as opposed to moving bars. What? What's this?
Yeah, this is a
Steel bar.
These are
Steel bar. Of course, rebar. Okay, so
now this is one of the events that we did at the World's Strongest Men competition.
okay.
They used rolled steel, which was a lot tougher than the rebars. And the secret to that, you had to bend the steel bar within 8 inches of each end. Otherwise, you were disqualified. They eliminate you.
So you had to bring it like a closed U.
Yeah, and they would measure it to be sure. So, but that really raised a cane with your shoulders because a lot of shoulder injuries from bending the steel bars.
Oh my gosh! So, what was your ranking in this? Did you?
I won for 2 years. I won the bending the steel bars.
And so, is it timed, or I mean, how do you become?
Well,
the
they
champ?
give you 60 seconds.
Okay.
To do it, and then if you don't get them with 8 inches, then out of the 10 guys, you dropped out. And
Okay, so it's just speed.
Yeah.
Wow.
They kept on going until you couldn't bend them. I mean, but they were close to 1 inch in thickness, the thickest bar.
Okay, now this one is very scary to me. Okay,
This was a tough one.
people watching or listening on the radio right now. There's Don in some very stylish shorts, I might add. It looks like you're holding up a tree in the air.
Oh,
what is
those
that
are
thing?
that was 385 pounds in the log lift.
The log.
And the tough part with the log, of course, is to be able to get your legs into it to lift them over your head.
What isn't tough about it? How did you get it off the ground to start with? Did they place it on you? Or?
Well, no, you just lay flat on the ground, and you had to pick it up, and then, of course, then you get up to your shoulders.
Hoist it
and
up there?
Yep.
There's handles in there?
They had handles on each side. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
now I get it.
Yeah.
Of
If you
course,
look at it, you
Justin,
can.
that'd be no problem for you.
Oh boy, that was
And me, with you, and your dad, and your brother. 300 and what?
385 pounds.
And was that a world record?
It was at the time. Yeah.
Wow.
I believe now it's over 400 pounds. I think guys.
Well, just a couple more pounds. You probably had a squirrel living in there or something. Wow.
Yeah, that's.
What did your family think of all this? I mean, did your mother have fits over this?
Oh, my mom was at first. I think my dad had passed on when I got into that level.
Well, you,
but I
you
think
gave him a stroke, probably.
I think I probably did.
Jeez.
But once you start winning titles, then of course everybody's proud of you. But at the time, it was like, what do you want to do that for? It just something that was in my blood, I guess.
I guess.
John.
Okay, Jeff tells me we have 2 more pictures. Oh yes,
Okay.
this is the one I saw on TV. I'm sure of it.
Now that's the 800-pound wheelbarrow race.
The wheelbarrow race. And what's in the wheelbarrow?
I don't know what's in those bags. They're never peaked, but probably some type of a steel of sorts,
And they give you a wheelbarrow.
Yeah, and you had to. There's another guy on the other side,
This is a race.
This is a race. Oh yeah.
It's just not enough to be able to push. You have to race against another guy.
Oh yeah, and whoever gets the best time is how they judge it.
Did you hold the record on that one?
No.
800 pounds in a wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
Nah.
You get there and we're looking. We think like, besides the 800 pounds, you think like, there's no way I'm going to run up that hill with that thing. But somehow you do though.
All right, this is what my favorites do. For those who are listening again, well, you got to describe the scene. I don't know.
Now that was the 1,000 pounds girl lift.
The 1,000 pounds.
And those are Playboy bunnies.
Okay, folks, this is not 1,000 pound woman. This is multiple women.
Yeah, I think if you look, there's six Playboy bunnies on top of that.
You do anything to pick up a girl.
Oh boy. And that platform that they sat on weighed 550 pounds, empty. But they, of course, CBS used the girls for the attraction of beauty with strength, I guess, you know.
Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast, yes.
Wow, look at you. And so they were on this platform. You get under there and you just give the old heave-ho.
You give it the best shot you got.
Now, and this is a world record, it says.
That was at the time, yes.
So they still lift people in competition?
You know, it's changed. Of course, I've been on it for like 30 years now. You know, it's changed a lot over those years. I don't know if they do the girl lifter anymore or not.
Okay, so going back for where you started, you've been named one of the top 10 strongest men of the 20th century. What does that mean to you personally?
Well, it means a lot to me because, you know, when I set my mind to do something, I want to be the best at it. You know, when I worked with the Youth Pro, I wanted to be the best director I could be working with kids. So I always wanted to be the best at whatever I chose to be. So it means, you know, more than anything, John, to me, it makes me feel good. I'm still remembered. Yeah. Because I've been on a competition for like 35 years. It's been a long time. And things, of course, have changed. And it's kind of neat that, and of course, I want to stress I did this all drug-free, you know.
Absolutely.
I never did the steroids or the cocaine and stuff that a lot of the guys did.
That's great.
So it was all done drug-free. And to still be in the top and be remembered was very flattering for me.
Okay.
Because, you know, one thing, and I think I should mention this too, John, is that sometimes people misconstrue strength and size with being a macho and being tough. And one of the questions the kids used to ask me is, how many fights did I get into and how many did I beat up? You know, I said, I don't get into fights, you know, because I didn't get into strength.
Well, who in the right mind would go up against you to begin with?
Well, you know, you get into it.
This guy would push his 1,000 pounds. I'm not going to touch this guy.
But, you know,
I know. You're not throwing your weight around.
You get into the wrong situation and you get some guys from the hillbillies and they want to look to see how, I've been strong, but how tough am I, you know. That isn't all why I got into this. It was a sport, you know.
For young guys, gals that are listening right now, any advice that you would give them now that, you know, you can look back in your career?
I think the best advice I can give kids, and I used to stress this when I would get into the schools and on the playgrounds, is first of all, work hard to get your education. Okay. Because that's,
don't give up the day job.
Never get, because schooling, we all know, is so important to get an education. And for those who struggle in school, and I used to struggle in school, John, I wasn't exactly an A student by any means, but I worked hard at to doing the best I could do. And I think that's so important. And then set dreams in your lives. You know, don't ever put limits on your life and say that I can't. Who'd ever think that a local guy like myself could want to be the best in the world? So don't put limits on yourself. And work hard. Don't be a quitter. I've never been a quitter. I haven't achieved everything I've done, but I've always worked hard at it, you know. And I think that's important. But education is top priority. Okay. Do the best you can in school and get an education.
Okay. So you've been named one of the top 10. Do they rank you, or is it just a group?
Well, they have a committee, I guess, that looks back in the past and kind of groups everybody together and to pick this type of a thing.
Okay. Don, we're just about out of time. Will you do me a favor and promise me something?
Sure.
When you get inducted into this group, will you send us a picture so we can share here on the air?
I will do that, John.
All right.
Absolutely.
Don, you got about 10 seconds left. You can say whatever you want to the world right now.
Well, first of all, John, you've been a dear friend of mine for a lot of years. We've known each other and been good friends, and I want to thank you for the honor being on your show today. And when I walked in, all the people who've made this possible are so nice and flatter me with your kindness. But I want to thank for everything, for what you've done for me. You've been a very dear friend, and I thank you, John.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've had so much fun, and I hope you've taken my humor well today. Don Reinhoudt, one of the top 10 strongest men of the 20th century, has been my guest, and it's been a multiple pleasure as well, Don. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
And we're going to be here again next week with more shows. I hope you enjoyed today's show. I had just so much fun with you, Don. Take care, have a great weekend, and be safe out there. And we'll see you all next Saturday at 9 a.m. Bye now.
Thank you.
Okay.
That was great, John.
Was that fun?
We had a good time, didn't we, though?